Never miss a training session again. The number one change you can make to go from inconsistent to all over it. If you're sick of constantly missing training sessions, on and off the bandwagon, feel like it is one step forward and two steps back, I hear you. I have been there. I've worked with clients who are in exactly that place where you are now. I'm obsessed with training, but when I was just starting in the old bill as a police officer, I went through at least 2 phases of time where I was so inconsistent with training because I just simply could not manage my time well. This hurt me a lot. I loved training and I felt so when I was on and off that bandwagon, because to me, training feels amazing. Having strength in my body and air in my lungs is what I thrive on. And so when I couldn't keep up with it because my schedule was hectic and I wasn't on top of my planning and my personal admin, it hurt. Through a lot of trial and error and learning from my mistakes over the years, I slowly got on top of it. Ever since I've started coaching, I've seen that this is the biggest thing that causes people to be inconsistent. And here is how I changed it for myself. Firstly, I went on a deep dive into my calendar and my schedule, and I found the most efficient, sustainable, and easy to hit times to train to create momentum. So for example, when I was a police officer, our early shifts meant we had to start at 07:30 hours in the morning. Didn't work for me, that training, so I took those days as rest days because I like training early in the morning. Times that were easy for me were what I picked. I made fitting training in as easy as possible, and I removed as many reasons to not train as possible in the lead up to my session. In my experience, for most people working 9 to 5, this means early morning sessions. Why? It sets you up for success. As long as you get to bed early enough, you can make early morning training very effective. Except for the early shifts, which started at 07:30, I made the training the first thing I did. So like I mentioned, for early shifts, it just did not work. If I set training to go in the afternoon after 8+ hours of running around East London, chasing bad guys and dealing with calls, I was often underfueled, tired and lethargic. But every single session I did, I took my early shifts as rest days. Every other session was early in the morning. I would get up. Sometimes I would eat and go to the gym, which was a 45-minute drive from my house, or I'd train in the garden without eating. Why the early morning? Training later in the day often means training after a long day at work, and there is so much that can go wrong for anyone when they are training later in the day. Poor fueling, dramas at work, delayed trains, bad traffic, family dramas. The list could go on. Training early also takes advantage of our circadian rhythm. Cortisol will be naturally high, and this will help you get a great session in. Evening time is when our body is trying to unwind and prepare for sleep. Training will disrupt your sleep if you do it in the evening. The key here is making sure you go to bed early enough that you can actually get up when that alarm goes off. That is where the work is done for training early in the morning. The work is not getting up when you set your alarm. The work is the night before. That's the hard thing. That's the bit that people miss out. Get on top of your bedtime routine, and you will find that you can train early in the morning and feel good for the rest of the day. If you're struggling with consistency in your training, give this a go and see what happens.